By the end of today's episode, you'll know whether acting school is really necessary to land legit acting work. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today we'll be talking about how important acting school really is towards booking legitimate roles in bigger productions. We're going to cover a few things, including whether acting school is really overrated, what casting directors care most about when it comes to your training and resume, and how you can shortcut the training process so you can start booking legit roles sooner than you think. So let's dive right in. Is acting school overrated these days? Well, there's a few things to think about. First, it's great for structured training and to allow yourself to be completely immersed in acting for a while. This will give you a good sense of whether you really love it or if acting is really not the right career path for you. It's also great to add to your resume if you don't have any speaking credits yet, because attending acting school can tell casting directors and agents that you take your career seriously and you've invested some serious money into your training. Now, on the other hand, it can be very expensive and take a long time to complete acting school. And you also need to be very careful with the type of training that you focus on. So if your goal is to act in film and television, but you focus on theater training, casting directors are not really going to care much about the training that's on your resume, and it can also potentially hurt you because it can make your performances look a little bit too melodramatic or big for film and TV, which requires much more natural, subtle acting. The truth is, casting directors care most about the number of relevant credits on your resume. So if you've got a ton of school training and only one speaking credit in a student film, for example, then most casting directors and agents aren't going to take you seriously. But if you have 5 to 10 lead and supporting credits in student and indie films on your resume, even if you don't have any training or just 1 or 2 small classes or working with coaches, you're going to actually find it much easier to get auditions and meetings with agents. So based on time and money alone, most actors' time, in my opinion, would be best spent trying to build up credits rather than spending years in acting school. Again, if the goal is to book paid acting work. The fact is, you can just take some smaller acting classes and work one-to-one with some coaches just to get some initial training and learn what you're doing, and it can help you with booking those couple of initial credits. But then right after you do that, I recommend that you spend all of your time or as much time as possible trying to get actual roles in productions and build up your credits. And of course, also get some footage for your reel. At the end of the day, the best way to shortcut the process from years to months in terms of getting access to your first major union role is to do the following 3 steps. Number 1, you want to make sure that your acting is as natural as possible. Spend some time learning Meisner training or working with a coach who specializes in screen acting and auditioning. Number 2, start submitting yourself as soon as possible to auditions for small independent productions, either paid or unpaid. I recommend that you try to get 3 to 5 speaking credits altogether. You can do this while you're in training. You can submit yourself while you're training. Finally, number 3, as soon as you have at least 2 to 3 unpaid and 2 to 3 paid credits on your resume, and you have a little bit of footage to make a reel, ideally at least 2 to 3 decent looking clips, at that point you should immediately start looking for an agent so that they can start getting you access to bigger roles. This entire process, honestly, should take anywhere from 6 to 12 months if you're extremely focused and targeted. For many actors, instead of 6 to 12 months, this process takes 6 to 12 years because many actors spend way too much time on training, never feeling ready to start looking for real legitimate auditions. And then once they do start looking for legitimate auditions, they spend years submitting themselves, but they find it really difficult to actually get invited to audition or submit self-tape. And they almost never book those jobs because, unfortunately, their acting is not as natural as it should be. Many of them have spent a long time studying theatrical training as opposed to film and screen acting training. And that is a major reason that actors stay stuck for too long. So don't let that be you. Well, thanks for listening. Now, if you want to dive even deeper on training and learning how to improve your acting technique, I highly recommend checking out my podcast called What Makes a Good Actor and Where Do You Stand?, which is episode number 20. I promise you'll learn a ton and you'll have a much better understanding of how your acting technique stacks up against other actors and how seriously you'll be taken by casting directors. Check it out. Again, episode number 20, What Makes a Good Actor and Where Do You Stand on the Actor's Career Compass. Thanks so much.